Go, love, yeah, go, go, love, yeah, go, love, yeah, yeah, go, go, love, yeah, go, go, love, yeah, go.
And that's when I said, not the cactus, the man behind the bar. You
Oh.
cut me off on the punchline.
I thought that was it. I'm sorry.
What? Oh, Greg. Oh, Greg, how I've missed your face. It's nice that you're not frozen anymore, buddy.
I know. I don't know how that happened because even on the pre-production call, I was completely fine. I don't. Maybe the first time ever it was your laptop that was bugging out for once.
Do me a favor. Tap your mic. Proud of you. You hear
Yeah.
that sound, ladies and gentlemen? That's
We went
metal.
through that. I went through that beforehand too to make sure that I had it correct.
Beautiful to me. That's what you look like doing that. Welcome, Greg. It is June 22nd, the second day of summer. Second day, I think. I think it's the second day of summer.
I think I'm lazy and just consider Memorial Day as the first day of summer, even though it's technically not. I mean,
That's
it's
not
the
lazy. That's just wrong.
It's the unofficial start. Like, just make it simple. Memorial Day to Labor Day. What is so wrong with making that just summer?
It just isn't. You know what I mean?
But it's unofficial though.
Okay, so it's not, is what you're agreeing with.
I'm saying unofficial. It's unofficial.
So it's not.
It's unofficial.
That's like, you are the unofficial douche of the show, but I'm the official douche of the show.
Exactly.
Are you proud of that?
Yes, I am, quite frankly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for being proud of that.
I am proud. I'm proud of all of us.
What's your shirt today?
That's just a Miller Brewing beer. Miller Brewing one I got when I was in Milwaukee a couple years ago.
Can you take it off? I want to see the tag.
What? It's just right there.
No, like take it off. I want to see the tag.
Oh, it's a medium, I think.
That's not what I asked.
What do you want to see the tag for?
No, take it off. I want to see the tag.
On my collar, you mean, or
what?
Like on my collar, you mean like the tag? Is that what you're asking? Like that's what I'm confused.
Yeah, take it off. I want to see it.
Jesus Christ!
Don't actually take your shirt off, Josh. Get in here. What are we doing? This is unbelievable.
Well,
I say strip, and he says how high.
Sometimes when two boys are left alone together, they'll be boys. And as the official, if Greg is the unofficial, he really took it off.
Yeah, I don't know why. No one asked him to do that.
Fucking hate you guys. Yeah.
No one asked you to do that. So weird. He says, "I have a row machine. Look at me, ladies."
Woo!
This is like
no, you have dumbbells now.
Yeah, I do actually.
And dumbbells? Holy shit!
Yeah, that was from I believe 3 people that were pushing me for that for the longest time and kept laying eggs in my ears about that.
Where do you got them in the basement?
Or no, they're in that room that's like next to my bedroom. That was like eventually going to be the office, but it's just like, meh, might as well put it there.
Hear me
for
out.
some reason.
Good workout spot. The in between your garage and your house.
Oh, the breezeway.
It's like outside. You could sweat a little. You know what I mean? You feel like you're working out outside.
That's true. That's
or your gigantic fucking basement. You could literally put like a Globo gym down there and still have room to spare.
Yeah, like the second garage I don't use, actually. That makes sense.
You have a second garage? Oh, wow, he does, huh?
He does, yeah. He's got one up top and one downstairs.
Remember when that was supposed to be a studio? And then we moved?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to be now?
I have no idea.
Man cave. You should get one of those, Josh, you'll know what I'm talking about. The Jumbotron things that have 4 TVs in them.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That's where we'll do the NFL draft show from every year. Is your basement?
Well, not next year, but every year after that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, like like YouTube TV has like their like the quad setup on. That's like an option now. Like just have like a legit quad setup, like actual 4 TVs.
And then on Sundays you can do your walking too, but you're just walking around the Jumbotron, looking at all the different games and holding a beer, exercising and drinking. Greg.
Hey, I can't beat that whatsoever. I mean, I exercise to drink more. That's the sign of an alcoholic right there.
You don't.
What? Exercise to drink more?
No, you don't. You exercise because if you didn't, you'd die.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And also because I care about my health and well-being and stuff, you know.
My ass. If you did that, you wouldn't do the show.
That's fair. That's fair. You two are not good for my well-being sometimes.
You get more drunk than I do when you come down here, crazy goose.
That's very fair, but that's because it's my vacation. I mean, don't act like I'm not going to do it when I visit Josh in December. I'm probably going to do the same thing.
Why didn't you go to Laramie?
Because every time I ask him to.
I think Greg is actually just scared of bison.
Well, I got bad news. I got really bad news. There's not
There's
only
a reason
bison
they call
here.
it the Thunder.
There's one that lives in his own pen, and people come and feed him, and his name is King George. So
that's a good name. That's a solid
what makes him
name.
royalty? What makes him royalty? Just
if you see him, you know. There is no doubt that this
King
is royalty
George,
of the bison.
OKC bison. Oh, there he is.
Yep, or just put Beaver's Bend Cabin Country.
Wait, OKC Zoo mourns loss of beloved bison.
Oh no!
In March, they lost Mary Ann.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was like, not George.
Oh, this is the worst Google ever.
Oh, damn it!
King George. It says OKC Zoo moons. They mooned the dead body.
Mooned it, and then it died.
Wow, Mary Ann.
That's a weird custom in Oklahoma City apparently.
When are you going? Greg? Why? Hold on. There was a clip. There was a clip that went live. I was wearing a denim shirt that I wore to work today and a Billy Strings hat. I remember it. I'm not crazy.
Good luck for you. Yeah.
I made you promise what, Greg?
To include you in all future conversations between me and Josh, so you didn't feel left out.
Okay, and
yeah, and I did not include you in this conversation, and I'm making you feel left out.
Okay,
and I apologize for not including you in this conversation and making you feel left out.
And
I'm not sure what else to say other than
How about the fucking date? Stop gatekeeping OKC.
I don't have one yet.
Oh. Why December?
Because
basketball started.
That and also my peak season kind of ends in November, so December is like the next best time for me to go.
I hate that.
That's called working in having a normal 9-to-5 job, man.
Josh and I don't have normal 9-to-5 jobs.
Okay.
Josh, what time did you start work today?
Let me rephrase.
What time did you end work today?
9 o'clock East Coast time. 9 o'clock East Coast time.
Yeah.
Sucker.
And I ended my day at 5 o'clock East Coast time.
I ended my day at 5 or 6 o'clock East Coast time. Yeah.
What do you mean you have a regular 9 to 5?
I have a regular grunt work based job, whereas you two are big fancy schmancy types that have big salaries and can do all this other cool stuff with your life and all that.
In our defense, we told you to get a new job.
That's fair, you did.
True, and my salary's not as big as Derek's, so really I think this
big.
is a Derek conversation.
In title, it's big. Just say that.
Yeah, it's like how do you measure it? End over end or girth? That's the question.
End over end.
Yeah.
But here, Greg, you have the most net worth, I think. You have a house.
True.
But you know how hard it is to afford this on a single person's.
All right, get married then. That's not my fault you don't have sex.
Yeah, get a new job and get married, you fucking asshole.
Get a dog, like the rest of us.
That too.
Oh, God,
Josh,
that's
you need a
true.
dog too.
Yeah.
Bean needs friends over the internet.
That's true. Bean does need friends.
I have a question, Greg.
Go ahead.
Well, who else are you talking to without me knowing? I made you promise if you go on dates, I got to know about it.
Oh, I haven't been on one in a while, so you're fine on
what
that.
What is Dre doing? We've paid him a lot of money to hook you up with people.
Dre's busy. Dre's busy trying to womanize on his own accord, man. He's got a lady friend.
Do you know what womanize means?
Oh yeah, good point.
It's got a really negative connotation.
I said that wrong. I said that wrong there. Yeah, he's busy trying to work his magic with a woman that he met recently, man. Sup, Bean? Lifting Bean is a workout.
It's getting to be a thing. Oh, big breath. Oh, big one. Give me a kiss.
I'm amazed how calm he is during all this. By the way, it's impressive.
Yeah, until he sees another dog, then he's like, "We should be best friends," and attacks with cuddles. All right.
If only more humans were like that. In fairness,
Debatable. All right. 3, 2, 1, action. What are we drinking, boys?
I have
Goodness.
American Solera, which is a double dry hopped pale ale.
Damn.
And where is it from? That's it. American Solera must be the brewery, and they just call it a dry double hopped pale ale.
There's nothing like super tiny like by the barcode or some shit.
American Solera is a brewery in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, it's Tulsa beer. No. It's good. I had a 4-pack of these that I picked up this weekend. So
Do we hate Tulsa?
There's an unspoken rivalry.
Huh.
Yeah.
They
want to be us, but they ain't us.
They are the 2 biggest cities in the state, I would imagine, right? So
yeah, I don't think Mohawk is going to come up on anybody anytime soon. So yeah,
could be.
You never know. Mohawks can be dangerous, man. They're pointy.
They have a beer called the Hawaii Boom Boom. I'd like to try.
Oh, I will find that.
It
sounds like a pineapple beer.
8% Imperial Ghost with orange, pineapple, coconut, marshmallow, vanilla, milk, sugar, and sea salt.
Oh shit!
Don't get it confused with the Coconut Boom Boom, which is an 8% Imperial Ghost with coconut, pineapple, macadamia nut, vanilla, milk, sugar, lime, and sea salt.
I feel like I need both those.
Facts. Big night tonight. A lot of topics to cover, and the NBA draft. So the second half of the show, we will probably get some live updates. The first pick should be pretty easy. Second pick and third pick are the question marks here. A lot of other sports going on, but I do want to start the show by asking Josh, what's that behind you?
Oh, I went the wrong way.
That's all Hogan, bro.
Oh my god.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so tell the people.
Well, it's an astromech, if you must know. And I found it stranded on the side of wandering through the desert. And
there you go.
And then wandering through the desert.
And then I found some people combing the desert looking for him. It must be an important droid. And now he lives with me. And he started in the garage.
Yes.
And he has now worked his way into the house.
I like the thought that Anastasia doesn't know that you just keep inching it closer and closer to this room. And one day she just trips over and she's like, "How did that get here?" You're like, "Oh, I have no idea. It must be alive."
Yeah, there was a bad storm, and so where he was in the garage, he had to be moved so that we could bring both cars into the garage. And I was like, "Oh, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just clean him up." So then I cleaned him up, and then all of a sudden he ended up in my office. I don't know how that happened.
Does he work?
Yes.
And there's no lid.
There's no lid is the only downside, but I can buy a new lid.
I was going to say.
And I have enough graphic designer friends. I feel like we can make this happen.
Cuz the lid looks sick from Google search.
Yes, the lid is I mean, it's his head, you know. Like,
although hear me out, without the head though makes it a unique piece though. That kind of fits it perfectly.
No, Greg, there's a lot of people on the internet that have this same thing without the head.
I'm looking
the head would make it more unique. I
mean, there's some on here for like going for 1,700.
Yeah. Oh,
they're
yeah.
pristine,
completed in the box or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I have an R2D2 now. And
R2D2 Pepsi Cooler lid on eBay.
You can't. Brother, I've been down this road.
Wow.
Do you have anything in him right now? Just out of curiosity.
No, I'm waiting for a special occasion to fill him with ice and then beer.
Okay.
Susie comes at the end of July. I think that'll probably be.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's a great occasion. For
and
that.
if you should not find that, Jeremiah comes in September. So
I don't know if it's a thing, so I'm gonna Google it before. I'll say it before. You should find holographic Princess Leia koozies. I don't know if it's a thing.
You dispense them from it, perhaps?
Bean's squeaky toy. So there was a R2D2, and when he ripped out the butt, out fell that holographic Princess Leia.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Koozie.
It's like they knew that a dog was gonna destroy it.
Oh, facts. Okay, I don't see a koozie, but that's an idea that we can do and we can make, boys. Good. I'm happy for you, Josh. I feel good that you got that.
That was yeah, you can go look on my Instagram or TikTok to see the story of it legitimately happening in real time.
It's just fate that it just kind of randomly just appeared in front of you in Oklahoma of all places.
If you go back,
don't happen in Laramie.
If you go back to the Idiot Hour too, I have a very strong theory that R2-D2 is the narrator of all of Star Wars, because he never had his memories erased, and he constantly addresses the camera. So if you watch Star Wars through the lens that R2-D2 is like, can you believe that shit? Like, it's even better.
Just straight Jim from The Office.
Has there ever been anyone that has tried to, like, kind of jokingly or half-heartedly try to interpret what R2-D2 is saying in the movies?
No, they know. They understand what he's saying.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about, like, for the viewer, I mean.
Oh, like
I would
close captioning?
guarantee.
Yes.
I would guarantee, because every line for I Am Groot has a line.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So I would almost
that's
guarantee every
cool.
time R2-D2 says something, there's like
somebody's gone
actual,
down that road.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible. If there's just like if there's like a manuscript or like something somewhere that just tells you everything that R2-D2 is actually saying in those
It's
moments.
like slightly racist.
Quite the potty mouth. Yeah.
I hate the Gungans. He just keeps saying it again and again and again.
What are you drinking, Greg?
The last of my Prism in Progress IPA. I really got to stop at Trace again and get some more stuff. They're supposedly, rumor and innuendo, they're expanding. Let's just say it's going to be a bit closer to Duquesne University.
I thought it was downtown.
No. Think about what's near Duquesne University.
Are they doing a second location?
There are so much shit near Duquesne.
Okay, let me explain. There's rumor and innuendo that they are going to be expanding into one of the newer buildings that are being built near the lower hill by PPG Paints Arena.
Oh.
Why would we expect that near Duquesne? Why?
Because Duquesne's right next to it.
It is right
yeah,
next
but
to
you
it.
just named a random building on that street. They're not in PPG
The
Paints.
university, man. It's not a random building.
You should have said something like, "They'll be a little bit closer come hockey time." Like that would have been good.
A clue. That's a clue.
He'd be like, "Oh my God, they're going to PPG!" Or like, next time Amanda Kessel needs an after-work beer.
There, Greg. If LeBron ever gets off of wine and comes visit the team he partially owns, then it's like, all right, it's either that or Liverpool. So
I'm hoping this is a second location, though. Yeah.
From the rumor and innuendo, that is what I'm gathering. Yes.
Okay, cool. Because
that spot is perfect. Yeah,
the power quad of Cobra, Bankrupt, Trace, and Liberty Beer. If I ever get back to the Holy Land, like I can't have that disrupted.
No, that holy block
quad yeah, whatever.
Block quad, yeah, whatever. Like I would
save. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Oh fuck!
It just wasn't a good clue, Greg. And like,
I'm not good at thinking on the spot. You two know me well by now. When am I ever good? When am I ever good at thinking of stuff on the spot?
You said, "Do you know Duquesne? Well, there's a building down the street, 3 blocks across the street from PPG Paints that no one's ever heard of that it might move into." It's like,
do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man,
who lives on Drury Lane? Yes.
What about have you been over to Huff's, Greg?
No longer there.
Well, that's why I'm asking. It's Necromancer, right?
Not yet. Not till September is when it's going to be. And like it looks like they're starting to do some work on the inside, but it's going to be like a few months until that happens.
They just opened their other tap room up, though.
Are you talking about the one downtown that they're splitting with Trace? Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but it does look. But I've heard it.
I just saw pictures. Cool. Yeah, it looks sweet. Yeah. Okay. We spent 20 minutes catching up. That was fun.
Whee!
Let's do some takes so Josh can make clips.
Do you want to do hoops before the draft starts?
Or talk the U.S. Open?
Let's do U.S. Open for 10 minutes and then dive into hoops. Because I don't think that'll take that long.
Sweet.
No.
So, Rory's a choke artist, huh?
Add Ricky to that list, baby.
I was going to try to figure out, like, who are we calling as, like, the bigger loser this weekend? Rory for not closing the deal on Sunday, or Ricky Fowler shooting one of the best opening rounds in U.S. Open history and then just plateauing like he
setting a record and losing is a tough thing.
Mm-hmm.
A good record. There's bad records in doing it.
Yeah.
For me, it's Rory, because Ricky has been everyone's favorite golfer. Ricky was always kind of like, he was a clubhouse guy growing up, a program guy. Everyone liked him. You root for him. He's just not that guy. To me, Rory was touted as the next Tiger. Rory was the guy. Rory was this and that, number one in the world, all these things. And dude has just, and don't get me wrong, golf is hard. Golf is not a sport that like one guy's going to do forever. Per my game, golf is difficult. So I'm not knocking that aspect. And maybe this is a lot of like, the whole like, well, the media made him out to be something that he never really was. Rory needs to be good at golf, or else what are we doing here? And he's a choke artist.
Yeah, what's at least good about, I mean, he's been in contention over the last like few majors and stuff. I mean, in fairness, so is Scotty Scheffler, and Scotty hasn't been able to close the deal either. But the fact that Rory, though, like Rory has just been consistently there for so long and just can't seem to get over that hump lately. I'll give him credit though. Like there was a point during Rory's career where I didn't think he was going to recover. Like it was like after he won like those, I think first 2 or 3 majors, then he just went spiraling downhill. Like his personal life started to like crumble and all that. And
Scotty beat Rory for the Masters, Greg. Scotty Scheff. He beat Rory for the Masters. I don't want you to say that Scotty Scheffler has not lived. He won a Masters.
No. I'm talking like consistently though. Like Scotty's also been in contention and like hasn't been able to finish either. But like, but I'm saying we hold Rory to a bit of a higher standard because of the the hierarchy that we foresee from him. But what I will say, I think though that Ricky Fowler is probably the biggest bust in golf history after this weekend.
Go on.
He has to be. Like when he entered the PGA, he gets the Puma endorsement. He gets that, that sick like orange look that he's notorious for and all that. And there's just all this like marketing blitz for him. And he's like looked at as like this new young up and coming guy that's just going to be the next evolution to the game. And just all of this like young talent has just progressively overtaken him and has gotten better and just has put golf in now into a point where Ricky Fowler can't touch them. Like he just can't. Ricky Fowler's not as good as like the majority of the guys that are on the tour right now. The best that I've seen him done is that one Players Championship, and that was 3-4 years ago. Like Ricky Fowler to me is just the greatest example of hype that just cannot match up to the level of expectation that we foresee him have. He is possibly the first successful marketing push for a golfer, and it didn't work out at all.
Hold on. You think he's the first successful marketing push for a golfer, or you think
that didn't work out?
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like obviously Tiger's the bet. Tiger.
That's where I was making sure exactly what you were saying, because Arnie that man had a drink.
Arnold Palmer created a brand. The umbrella was a thing. Like Tiger had everything under the sun, is in all commercials and stuff. But Puma put all their money, and still to this day put all their money behind Ricky Fowler to be the guy that's going to be like the next face of golf. And he's just been overtaken by so many other guys as well to this point that like that Ricky's just.
Yeah,
he's the biggest. He's probably the biggest bust in golf ever.
So
it's
Ricky,
tough for me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh. No, go.
Ricky Fowler has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top 5 finishes in majors. He has been second at the Masters. He's been second at the U.S. Open, but none of his last top 5 finish was this year. Before that, his last top 5 finish was 2018 at the Masters, where he finished second.
For me, Greg, I think you're confusing prodigy-esque stuff with the marketing. That's okay. I'm not going to call him the biggest bust in golf because, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I have a better name. Maybe Sergio, but I love Sergio. But like maybe John Daly, but I love John Daly. So for me, when it comes to Ricky, without the orange, he would have been just another tour guy we all love. but because there was marketing and push behind him, it was a little bit more. Now, I mean, here's my
And
legit
the hair.
question.
The hair.
Yeah,
he
the
had
hair, the
great
skater
Yeah,
boy
hair's
hair, all
great
that
Great
stuff.
hair.
I mean, the other thing is he's tied heavily with some of the guys we're going to consider some of the greatest golfers ever. He's in an era with, older guys like Tiger was still winning Phil, mid guys like Dustin Johnson and Jason Day, who was killing it for a while. And then you have the younger guys who aren't younger anymore. Spieth,
Colin.
JT, these guys are not younger. Then there's Colin Morikawa, Brooks, Bryson, all these guys coming in. So you're in an era where the greatest golfers ever are alive. And I think that if we're going to call players based off marketing campaigns, they're bust. Like, I just don't think he's the biggest bust ever because two things. One, he's had second place finishes. He's had a high career earning. He has shown up and been at least good. And two, he's still golfing.
Is he Phillip Rivers? I mean,
I don't think Phillip Rivers is ever liked as much as him, but I don't hate it.
Phillip Rivers played in the greatest era of quarterbacks ever. And any other era would be a great quarterback and probably would have won, but he was literally playing against the people who redefined the position.
Greg?
I actually really like that take. I really like that take.
Woo!
I was thinking about it for a second, and I'm like,
You guys are
I'm like, yeah.
fucked when I get this pineapple beer in me when I find it.
Yeah,
I have a
I
different
really like
comp,
that.
but I like
Okay.
that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, Rivers is the guy that's like notorious for putting up all these numbers but never winning anything. Never won an MVP, I don't think.
Yeah,
Is
I mean,
always
No.
he didn't have the marketing push and didn't have like the. I'm trying to think like the.
Well, but they chased Drew Brees out of town for him.
They did.
That
Brees
was
ended up
kind of
being
like the
successful.
big, early kind of like marketing scheme if you want to go that
In
way.
his shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Paul George.
He's just looking for shit. You just want to shit on him. You just wanted to find a way to shit on him. That was all this was.
Paul
there
George
was
was a god candidate. The leader of the U.S. team broke his leg, came back, never hit it, was a hype, kept hitting LeBron James year after year after year after year. Was supposed to be the guy destroyed, supposed to be the guy. 4 straight years of just getting ripped in basketball, and is now just a guy in the league that we're all like, he's good.
All right.
Yeah.
You're
When
not,
he
when you
plays-
put
when
it
he
that
plays-
way, you're not wrong.
when he plays, that's a very accurate take on that one too.
Man,
Okay.
Fuck. All right.
Yeah,
That's
screw
right.
you, screw you,
I
Paul
love
George.
that.
I do like Paul George.
All
He's
right.
just-
So Ricky Fowler's, Paul George, and some no name won the U.S. Open.
Wyndham
Yeah.
Clark, baby.
Wyndham
Woo!
Clark. If
up, Sid?
that dude does not get a Wyndham Resorts endorsement after this, then what are we doing?
Or Clark shoes.
Or Clark shoes. Yeah, like come
Entire
on.
ball family.
This is just golden right there in that case. And by the way, I also want to point out that I think I don't know if this was the last like 3 or 4 US Opens or stuff, but I thought the US Open was supposed to be one of the most difficult courses in the world.
I would be
to
surprised
play
if they
with.
go back to that course.
Like why in the world, like how in the world are guys shooting 10, 11 under par at the US Open? That makes no goddamn sense.
My buddy at work.
Wasn't it
Well,
Torrey
actually,
Pines the one year too?
yeah. So shout out to my buddy Sam. His dad, very well off, like has golfed Augusta and all the best courses and stuff.
Wow.
He has friends that are members at this course, and all of them were like, "Wait till the guys get out here! Like they don't understand how hard golf is." And I was like, yeah, dude, they woo, it's tough when your
Yeah.
whole game's dragged like
Oh
that.
my god. Like that, like the US Open is supposed to be a course where if you hit even, you are considered in contention. Like that's incredible that this has happened like so many years in a row where guys, and I don't know, is it more so the fact that guys are just that good, or is it just like whoever's picking these courses for the US Open has no fucking clue what they're doing?
My
No,
guess would
because
be
this
they're
is
that
like
good.
we're talking Shinnecock, Pinehurst, like
Yeah.
Torrey Pines, like these are some of Pebble Beach, like these are like the legendary fucking courses of golf that we're talking about.
Greg,
They
if
just
you
had a bad pick this year.
and if you had, so you can start as soon as the sun peaks the horizon, and
Mhm.
you're done the second the sun sets. One day, unlimited mulligans.
Oh my god.
Nope.
But you have to walk and you have to carry your own club.
No,
Unlimited
done,
balls,
done,
unlimited
done.
balls, unlimited mulligans. Could you
No.
break his record?
I'm out.
Oh man.
That is a
Southern
straight like
Hills.
7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. until 9:30 at night. We're talking in the middle of summer. You get
Oh,
like 14 hours of sun. You get unlimited mulligans, and you have to. What did they finish, Josh? What was the finish on that? Do you know?
I'll look it up.
Okay.
what like Wyndham Clark finished? I think it was like
Yes.
60.
No. Overall for it. So it was
Oh, I
11
think
under.
it was
8
like
under.
11, 10 under. Yeah.
Okay. Unlimited mulligans. Thoughts? You only 18 holes. You just have to beat 11.
I have to be 11 and I get unlimited
He was
mulligans.
10 under. He
So
was
10
10
under.
under.
Okay,
Unlimited
10 on.
mulligans. You have to carry your own clubs. Unlimited balls. Sid says 12 under. Is that what you're hitting, or that was it?
Hell, I'll give you Ricky Fowler since you think he's such trash ass statement. He's
The
only
dude-
5 under. Can
the
you
dude
get
hits-
5 under?
First off, Ricky Fowler hit 62, 63 on day one, so it's doable. I'm not saying it's not.
That isn't how it works, Deke. Yes, it is, Sid.
Yeah,
Yes, it
I
is
think
how it is.
if I have unlimited mulligans and I have the entire day to do it, I think I could do it. Yes.
You think you could walk 18, carry your own clubs, unlimited balls, unlimited mulligans, and you could shoot 6 under?
Yes.
Man, how did they even go? Like, where did they even end up
No,
there?
Sid, not one round. I was saying his overall score, you jagoff.
How did they even end up at the Los Angeles Country Club?
No one's shooting 10 under in one round.
Money.
Were
That's
they're
probably why.
going to North Park next year? Because I'll tell you what, North Park is fucking harder than that. It bounces like a rock. Everything's on a fucking slope.
I think it's the fact that the location is literally right next to downtown LA. It was probably
Yeah,
something that the
fuck
USGA just couldn't resist, honestly.
Then go put them in Vegas. They'll have the Vegas flu and be trying to golf through it.
No. Thankfully next month at the Open, that'll probably be at least a little more challenging for them. I think.
It's Pinehurst next year too.
Okay. The British Open.
It's Pinehurst, Oakmont, Shinnecock are the next 3.
I think the next 2 should be a bit more like back to normal scores. You would think.
Oakmont Country Club. Oh man, 2025, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Shout out the squirrels, baby.
Let's go.
Big
Oakmont
golf.
Bakery's gonna be bumping that
It
weekend.
will be bumping that weekend.
Yeah.
They should
Yeah.
come to South Park, no tea times, just show up and play with my uncles and high school kids.
And the Bison. And the Bison. Greg can't go. He's afraid.
Oh
I
my
am
God.
terrified. The Bison
South Park
just-
has a walk-on that I tried to go to one day. Me and Mike Funyak pulled into the lot. We looked around. We said, let's just go home. And we just went back to Bose.
That was like North Park. We would go during COVID every Wednesday, Corey and I, and we'd get in fights with the old guys.
Yep.
It was fucking awesome. We didn't even care about golfing anymore. We were just trying to fucking pick a verbal
ruin
argument
some old
with a
guy's day.
60-year-old dude who can't walk straight.
trying to get your anger out of the world,
Man.
basically. Oh, that's funny.
It was brilliant. It was so much fun. All right. Let's do NBA draft.
Do it.
Who goes second? Who goes third? That's the real question, I guess.
Yeah, what Victor Wembanyama has come out as being 2 of my favorite things that have happened during this draft process, guys. One, Victor Wembanyama was called the greatest prospect in team sports. The other was that Victor Wembanyama said Scoot Henderson should be the number 1 if I was never born.
I'm
Oh,
finally
that's
watching the
incredible.
3rd season of Ted Lasso, and Victor Wembanyama might be Zava. That might be like where he's a god.
That's
Mm.
Zlatan.
Zlatan.
Zagad. Yeah, no. So number 2,
Ibrahimovic.
the rumors have been swirling that they like Brandon Miller. First off, who knew Stephen A was 6'4"?
He's 6'4".
Yeah, because they just showed Victor Wembanyama and him and Wembanyama's 7'5", and
Yeah.
they showed like height disparity, and it's like wow.
Excuse me.
I can't
Okay.
believe Stephen A's that big.
He played college basketball, so
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that he has to be a bit tall.
For a dude that big, he talks a lot.
No, for sure.
Damn.
He's
Anyway.
got that's confidence, baby. Yeah, so I can back it up. But
Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, no. So I mean, I don't know, Greg. I think that the conversation comes down to what I presented to you guys before, which is that college basketball is kind of boring now that the G League's taken over because all these big names are going there instead of going to colleges. Personally, for me,
Yeah,
you're looking
like
at
Drake Jeffries.
you happy with that?
he's hang his hat on that one.
Hunter
Okay.
Maldonado is being linked to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Via Josh. Elsas?
No, via him.
Sources, Josh Elsas.
Via the
thing,
source
though,
is Hunter.
You're looking at Scoot, who is a mid jumper, not really a 3, kind of fast to the rim guard versus Miller, who is a shooter and
disappeared at the biggest moment in his career.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. That's very much where I'm at with this. I don't know, man. I'm not in love with either of these guys. I think Scoot got that dog in him, but he very easily could just turn out to be another decent guard. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird draft.
It's a very, very weird draft. It's a big 3 draft, but it's like the disparity between 1 and 2 is just so far that it's not even close on that one. I also saw stuff today too that apparently there's now movement that Scoot might go number 2 to Charlotte, which him and LaMelo together would be interesting. I don't know who would be the primary ball handler, but that's still interesting because Scoot's not much of a shooter, so I don't know how that plays off well in that case. But Deke, this is something that you touched on like kind of earlier this year when you talked about how college basketball's been kind of like boring for you to a degree. And the NBA draft, and I talked about this beforehand, it's my 4th favorite draft of all of them. And part of the reason why I don't have a strong attachment to it is because 1, the majority of the guys that are being drafted, I didn't see play at all this year. Like I have no attachment to it. Like the Thompson twins that are from Overtime Elite, I didn't watch any of their games.
No.
Or even like a lot of the guys who are going to be taken in the second round are all European players that teams are going to buy their rights to and then never play. I think one of the other problems that I do have with the NBA draft is 1, it's only 2 rounds, so there's not enough talent taken. 2, the fact that there are a good number of teams that don't have picks makes me think that there's a lot of teams that don't care about the NBA draft. 3, why do you have a development league and teams don't take advantage of that aspect? Because if you have picks, have them get playing time in the G League. Don't just stock it up with like guys that are college free agents or 2-way guys that you can put on your roster to move back and forth and stuff. Like actually use your G League to develop your players.
Yeah.
And I don't see that linear development path like I do in other leagues. That's why I prefer hockey a little bit more, because at least you can see development track like through the juniors or the minors and
Let's
stuff
go
like that.
back to your first point, because you do this a lot where you say 3 things and then you talk a really long time after and no one remembers what
I
you
go
said.
on a rant.
Yeah, well, you got okay. So part number 1 was that it's only 2 rounds, so not enough talent is drafted, right?
Yeah,
I'd argue there's not enough talent out there to be drafted.
Okay.
I mean, there just isn't. Rosters are not that deep. You have your bench. You know what I mean? You can
what 15?
I think so.
Yeah.
And you're not looking at this being a very deep thing. I mean, I would say the last guy picked in the second round is lucky to be drafted, and there's a lot of UDF guys or UDFA what comes into it. So maybe 2, you said that teams give up picks and maybe not care about it. Yeah, I would argue that a car that runs well is almost always better than a car on the lot, because the car on the lot is you don't know.
It's your Brian Windhorst thing that you always like to throw out.
And so draft picks, once they become players, they become a thing you have to coach and teach. And I mean, just looking at this list right now, Scoot's a good player. I think Scoot could be decent. I think Scoot's floor might be Marcus Smart. You look at Brandon Miller. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be a decent shooter. He's not going to be anything crazy.
What's his floor?
It would be kind of a. To me, it's Wiggins with a better shot. He is athletic, and I mean, like that's like the highlight of it. His floor might be, you're looking for somebody that's decent shooter on the outside, not really a killer, kind of a little disappointing in it.
He did kind of said that he models his game after Paul George. So
yeah, well, no, he called Paul George the greatest of all time.
But he also said that that's how like he like kind of idolized or like kind of had his game meshed towards, because like the way that Paul George was built and how he ran was his inspiration too. So
yeah, terrible. 6'9". I like the kid. I think he'll be okay. I don't know about floor right now. Amin Thompson, he could be Tyus Jones. Who knows? He could be a decent guard that gets put around to a couple different teams. He could be Cameron Payne. That's just what it could be. There's no guys.
These names make you happy.
None of them. And there's not a single player in this draft outside Victor Wembanyama. I mean, the only guy I care about is Grady Dick, because his draft outfit's kind of sick.
Dude,
what up, Blood Bomb?
Oh, dude, the red ruby outfit. Oh, it's sick. And by the way, 19-year-old who shot 40% from three at Kansas and is the fear that I always had when I was a Pitt fan in the Big East is the tall white guy who does nothing but shoot threes. Right. Someone will take advantage of that somehow.
You should check out Nate Barnhart at South Dakota State. I'm just saying, 7-footer, shoots the three. Derek, how much of this, though, has to do with the way the NBA has developed, where they pull in guys like fucking Joker and Giannis, and where, like, things have changed so dramatically? Because, in the 80s, we'd be looking at Marquise Noel after that tournament run going like, oh, he's going top 5, no problem, right?
Well, yeah.
The big three from UConn. The big three from UConn are all leaving, and who knows whether or not they're going to even get drafted. Like, I feel like the NBA has just changed so dramatically. It's such a global sport that there's guys we don't even know about, literally Joker and Giannis, where they're going to develop into the stars of tomorrow, and we have no fucking clue.
Here's the thing. The difference between college basketball and the NBA has never been greater. Yeah. You look at European basketball, you look at some guys that have gone back to play in Spain, back to play in Serbia. There's good players over there that have left the NBA to go back over there. I can't remember. There was a guy that was drafted just a couple years ago that went back over because they were doing a redraft thought. So you look genuinely at a guy like Luka, who at 17, 18, 19 was demolishing professional teams in Spain. To me personally, you look at a situation where the college game has almost absolutely positively nothing to do with the pro game. There hasn't been a player that's come out of the college game that we're like, that's a bona fide stud. Cade Cunningham. You look at, Paulo Banchero had a great year, and he's good, right? He's okay.
Rookie of the year, yeah. You could say that.
He's good, but is he really going to be some crazy stud star? You just don't know. No, whereas these over-the-seas guys, they really are.
Cade Cunningham was insane.
Yes, he was going to be one of the greatest scorers.
Generational talent.
Yeah. And injured and all that stuff. Yeah, that's what kind of happened with that.
They're playing against grown men playing grown men basketball for championships in Europe. That's why I had really high hopes for guys like Emmanuel Mudiay and Brandon Jennings, guys that forgot college and went over to China to play. And they were good. They get to the pros. It's a little bit different. They have some heat here and there. They're there for a while. It is what it is. Also, shout out to Blood Bomb. He said the surgery went well. Good, buddy. He had reached out on Instagram saying he got some surgery. So happy for you, buddy. God bless my guy. Yeah, it's just there has never been a larger gap between a college sport and a professional sport than we're looking at right now between the NCAA and NBA.
Well, and even hang on real quick. Look at so Derek said that you have 18-year-old Luka dominating grown men in Spain, right? And that's how you know that he's going to be legit. 2 of the Final Four teams this year carried men that had 26-year-olds on their roster.
Playing college basketball.
Right.
Okay.
I said Final Four. I'm sorry. Yes, I guess I should have prayed. But they got all the way there by just being older. Brandon Miller didn't upset, you know what I mean? Like, Brandon Miller didn't take over like Luka did in Spain when he could have against grown men in which one they lose to? They lost to San Diego State.
Yeah. Well, what's weird about that is that Brandon Miller's the best college prospect in this class, and he did not dominate at all in college basketball at all. He was on a very good He was on a very good Alabama team, though, like in general. But
during the season, Greg, he was
the guy.
He was the dude. And then all the shit came out, and then he wasn't the dude anymore, solely based around that stuff. And then he let that affect his game, and then he went into a shell.
The tougher thing to look at for that entire conversation, though, Josh, is it's still in my head. College basketball, you get a lot of guys, they'll stick around, have a program. And you have, Sam Decker and Frank Kaminsky, seniors coming in. It's our year. And then a bunch of freshmen on Duke come in and just trash your shit.
And they did.
But that's the thing it's college basketball is not built to have NBA stars. I mean, let's think about Ja right now. Ja was the only guy. They played more NBA basketball than anyone else because we have one guy, everyone else just don't fuck up. And Ja get out there, and that is what happens in the NBA.
Yep.
Zion wasn't that good at Duke.
He really wasn't. And part of it was because he was injured too. Yeah, RJ Barrett was the best player on that team. Yeah.
RJ Barrett was the best player on that team.
Which if I think about it too, I think that was the last draft that had like the top 3 be college guys or played in college, if I remember correctly.
Because Cade would have been the next year, and then the year after that.
Because Cade's year was Jalen Green and Jabari Smith, and Jalen Green was the first G League guy that got drafted, and Jabari Smith was Auburn, and he kind of shot up out of nowhere.
Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes.
Evan Mobley. Okay, Evan Mobley actually played very well at USC and filled in a nice role in Cleveland, actually, to that degree. So I'm curious if like how prospects now kind of weigh the aspect of what is a better track for them to develop.
I think where you're at is if you're not going to a blue blood or a new blue blood. We're not going to say Georgetown's a blue blood, but you know what I mean. The top programs right now. If you're not going to go for a one and done at Kentucky, your best bet is to go to a small school and get the rock, where you're getting double teamed and you're learning and you're getting the shots, you're getting the reps, you're getting everything. And then if you're there for 2 years and you're still not draftable, then go to a big program, get your shine, and go somewhere else and get your draft shine.
Yeah. It's also interesting too to look at some of the top prospects that are available, or like top 10 guys that are like looked at from that aspect. Some of these guys I don't remember at all from college, like lighting up the scoreboard or anything like that. Like Cam Whitmore at Villanova, like I don't remember him like doing anything like wild.
Jalen's probably the last one. I mean, like,
Jalen
obviously
Brunson?
Steph was like, that was magical, but like Jalen Brunson was on a championship winning team at the NCAA level, came into the NBA, and is now the star of his team.
Yeah. Or like,
that's the thing too, is it's a development. So you look at guys that aren't really highly touted or weren't great that are now stars in the NBA, and the NBA is littered with them because you give them time in the NBA, and that's, understand that that's what Greg says, but Greg, there's also people that have had their time and suck ass. So we can both agree that that's not always true. Like, shut up, Ben Simmons. The thing I'll say about Brunson, though, is you get in the right system and you get the right opportunity, and then you go get your bag, and then if it works out, it works out. Because Julius Randle, in that same conversation, was there for the Lakers, had some injuries, moved him, New York, became the guy for a half second, got his bag, was happy about it. The difference between what we're talking about with college and these prospects coming out of college, they're going from playing an exact system to playing NBA basketball. It's just two extremely very different sports.
Yep.
It's the biggest gap in terms of college to pro in any sport in the history of sports.
Even just the defenses they face. Like, Syracuse wins 30 games a year playing the zone.
Right. And
you
don't see that in the NBA.
You ain't seeing the zone?
I mean, some coaches might change it up in the playoffs, but you're not going to see that in the regular season or anything like that. So I'm curious then if certain talent probably look at college and they look at it from the perspective of what's going to be the best path for me to develop into a pro. Yeah. But then again,
go overseas. Well, Austin Matthews, baby.
But then again, there's also the aspect of like the guys who maybe think that they're going to be pros and they have Overtime Elite and they have G League Ignite. And that's like a very limited number of guys that are going to be taken for that. Like they're not they're going to offer like probably top 50, top 40 players in an upcoming class and see who sticks. But otherwise than not, some guys probably think like, okay, maybe it's better for me to go to this college program where I'm the guy and I can dominate against 21, 22-year-olds in hostile environments and show my versatility. And then that works out even better for me. No, because
like Drew Timme. Is Drew Timme going to get drafted tonight?
Late second round, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
In his defense, Sean Clifford got drafted.
True.
Anything is possible.
I just, you know what I mean? Like, I think, and this is largely because I am close to guys who, one, went through it last year and a guy going through it this year. And they know that their path, if they're not going to be drafted, is to go play G League for a team.
Yep. Go
play in the Canadian League for a team, or go overseas or whatever and do a non-traditional route. Drake Jeffries, I mentioned him earlier, got signed by the Magic, played on the G League team, had a couple of big highlights with blocks and dunks. He was leading the G League for a month in 3-point percentage, and now he's playing in Canada. He literally left the Magic, went right, or whatever the G League team is for the Magic, right up to Canada. He's playing a season up there, and then he'll go back to the Magic the second that's ready. Play year-round. Make sure you're playing well. Make sure you're getting the clicks and all that other kind of shit, and then just go from there. Because at this point, man, getting drafted and that, like, oh, yeah, that's the stock of the future, just doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Well, I also think, too, what doesn't work well for the NBA is that a lot of the guys that are drafted, I feel like the hit percentage on guys that are drafted in the NBA is also much lower than, like, any other league.
Well,
you mean
that's
later
also
in the
'cause there's
draft
only
or
2
heavier?
rounds.
Well, both aspects, because I think because in the grand scheme of things, the majority of guys that are taken highly are 19, 18-year-olds. And for the most part, and Deke, I think I've said this a lot, is that guys take a lot longer to develop in the NBA because by the time you're 23, 24, that's usually when you're starting to figure things out. So you take that's 4 or 5 years of development time that you're trying to understand how to be a pro and that you're understanding how to go up against like strong competition and stuff like that. That's why I wish teams like utilize the G League more and get their guys reps and be able to kind of understand like how to be a pro and how to play a system and get their bodies ready for it instead of struggling or not.
By teams don't use their G League team. I don't know what you mean by that. You've said it a couple times now.
Okay. Every NBA team has a G League team. Like you can look it up. Like everyone has it to that degree.
Need to look it up. I got you.
I don't in every other sport that has like a farm system. So MLB and NHL, like to a degree, like in the NFL, college football is your farm system. Like it's an unofficial rule for that, obviously. But
don't agree with that, but go ahead.
But for the most part, guys who are drafted, whether it be your first or 20th round pick, and if you're talking Major League Baseball, they always have to go through your farm system. They got to develop, they got to get ready, they got to be able to get accustomed to the pro game. Unless you are like a phenom, like for instance, like the NHL's used to this, where like maybe guys who are drafted in the first round, I'd say like maybe 6 of them are ready for the pros right away, give or take. Most of them probably have to either go back to college or play in the juniors. And then if they're signed, then they go maybe like a year in the minors to get accustomed to it and stuff. You don't see that in the NBA much. Like, I feel like guys that when they're drafted in the NBA, I don't feel like they're put in a position like on their G League team to get the reps that they need. Most of the times they're just kind of sitting on the bench, like just kind of going about their day.
You can't compare it to baseball, Greg, where there's 7 teams underneath the main team with a giant bench full of people.
I understand that, but I'm more so talking about the fact that, like, for me, one of the reasons why I don't have like a higher opinion of the NBA draft process in general is because I just think it's harder to track a development process of a player that you're drafting highly to see how well they're performing, especially in a league that prioritizes a higher focus on win now and free agency versus like letting your guys develop. The Denver Nuggets are the best example of letting that play out.
Yeah, but they also started all their guys. They didn't send anyone G League, so that's
I understand, but they gave time to guys to develop though. Like Jokic took time, Porter took time, Jamal Murray took time. Like they let their guys
to the G League though, Greg.
I understand. What I'm saying is,
like,
I wish more guys. I wish
why would
more
you? They
guys
developed guys in the pros and they won a title because of it. Why would you send any of them down to the G League?
Because the purpose of the G League is to give your young players development time to be able to build your body and build your game and get used to it, not rot on the bench while
but
you
the Nuggets just proved you wrong, right?
But the Nuggets took time to get that to happen.
Yes, they did
though.
in the pros, right?
Fair, but it took it took a lot of time for that to happen though. Whereas they could have also gotten
better in the G League though.
But they'll get playing time instead of sitting on the bench and doing nothing.
If I go to the YMCA and I play every second of every game versus going to the local college, you're telling me that is better than going to the local college and playing against better competition.
But you're
You're
not going
not
to be
sending
playing
Chet
though.
down. You're not sending Jabari Smith down. You're not sending Keegan Murray down. You're not sending Jaden Ivey
That's
down.
fine. That's fine. Listen, I'm not talking about like the top tier of guys, dude. I'm talking about like guys that are going to be taken in like the end of the first round or like lottery picks in the second round and stuff. Like you're going to draft them and you're not going to give them any playing time and stuff. And that's why I wish people use the G League more often and actually pushed guys to have their draft picks play year round. You don't see that often enough. It's very, very rare that you see guys that are taken at the end of first round or second round that develop into stars. Nick Jokic is the greatest example of something like that. To be able to be a second round guy and then become a star. I'm just
and he
saying.
played in the pros every year, right?
I think you're both right. I think you're both right.
The thing that Greg is saying is that sending people down would give you quality playing time.
Yes.
That's what you want to happen. But you're comparing it to the NFL where you said college football, which is just not true, and baseball where they have 7 fucking farm teams that they get them up the ranks and up the ranks for up to speed. Greg, this is basketball. There's 15 guys on one team. If you draft a guy, literally just drafting a guy means he should be one of your 15 best players. You send him down to the G League. It's just bad competition and timing down there. Why wouldn't you want him with the first team? Why wouldn't you want competing with those guys? Jordan Poole's a great example of a guy that played with the Warriors starters and became a downright thug because of it.
In fairness, also the Warriors are probably the best team when it comes to developing because they actually used their G League team. They had Juan Toscano Anderson is the best example, a guy they drafted and developed into the G League and then ended up becoming a role player for them. Bruce Brown, who was with the Nuggets, was a guy they drafted, let him play for the G League team, got a spot, and then is now going to cash in and be a free agent this year.
Who's the situation of somebody that you're mad at that they didn't let go to the G League then? Because I think it's a straw man argument.
No. I'm not talking about any like specific example. I'm just saying like there is a G League that exists, but I don't feel like NBA teams utilize it to the point that they should.
And what you think that they should send down their draft picks to G League to get playing time as opposed to playing with the starters and competing against the starting team in practice and getting starting reps?
To a degree, yes, if you want to go that route. But
so they're not. That's what you're saying. I'm not going a route.
I'm not saying every draft pick should, but I would say like I wish teams used their draft picks to a degree and get guys playing time and watch them develop and then bring them up if they believe they are ready for that.
But I don't think anyone's not doing it. I think the players that deserve to be in the G League are sent to the G League. I mean, I'm trying to think of a player that you would consider rotting on the bench and should go down because I don't think you have a name.
Rotting on the bench.
I think you're just saying that you want it to be that. Like I can't think of a name of somebody that you would say should be sent down that is wasting time but super high potential or something like that.
Oh, I got a name. Keep going, Greg.
I would say I can't think of a name off the top of my head. It's just to me, I feel like the purpose of the G League is to develop guys that you believe have high potential and ability to play a role on your team, on your main team in some sort of way. And I don't feel like we see that enough. I don't feel like the G League is actually serving the purpose of what it was intended to be. Unless you are certain clubs like the ones that come to my mind, the Warriors do it well, the Lakers do it very well, and the Heat do it very well, of being able to find guys, give them playing time in some sort of way, whether it be the G League to get them more time, more ability to be able to play, and then find a spot for them on their bench and then become contributors.
But that's because, and we both agreed that the Warriors are the best team, right? So
sure,
if they're not the best player, sure, go ahead down. There is not a bum team that is sending a draft pick down.
True.
And we can go through rosters and talk about maybe guys who should, but I'm telling you right now, I understand that you would like there to be a more formal development path for some of these guys. That's not the realization. This is a young man's game. This is arguably, compared to all sports, the youngest man's game.
Oh, yeah, I can agree with you on that one.
You got to get in there and get your fucking bumps, man. I'll tell you right now, if they set Chet Holmgren down after missing a year, he's never coming up.
So I have two comps for you guys. So a guy that should have played in the G League this year but stayed with his team was Marjon Beauchamp in Milwaukee. In the preseason, he lit it up. First 2, maybe a month of the NBA, he was good. And then as the game started to actually mean something, he started to sit the bench. His time would have been better served being in the Bucks development system playing games because he has the athleticism, he has the shot, he has the ability, but he, for the most part, just sat on the bench for the good part of the year. On the other side of that coin, a guy who is being developed in the G League, who has everything that it's going to take to be a all-star in this league, is Johnny Jusang.
Oh, UCLA guy, yeah.
UCLA, he led UCLA on that magical run. Mm-hmm. He had all the tools. Gets drafted by the Jazz. The Jazz let him play 10 games in the NBA, and then they sent him down. And he stayed in the G League for the rest of the year. Guess what? He fucking tore it up.
The difference comes down to an individual team aspect.
Sure.
But I strongly disagree that if you believe in a player, sending them to the G League, for more time is a beneficial thing when traveling with Giannis, and being around Giannis would probably be the highlight of that young man's career if he died tomorrow. I'm not, I'm not being a dick. I'm saying, like, traveling with the first team, being an NBA player, all of those things, they push people to be better. Going down to the G League, you can have a chip on your shoulder, sure. How many people get sent down and don't come back up? At least if you're on a bench, other teams are going to be looking at you also.
So you're saying basically that the reason that Johnny Jusang is going to work out is because the Jazz suck. Whereas Beauchamp can learn from Giannis, learn from Brooks, learn from Chris Middleton.
That's what I'm high on, is the ability. I mean, let's talk about the fucking poster child for why Greg hates the G League, and it's Andrew Ingram. Andrew Ingram. He played 20 years in the G League, Greg, and started for the Lakers and put up, I think it was 18 in his first game. You know the story. I wrote a blog about it. He's 37 right now. He played his first game at like 32.
Yeah.
He was in the G League for 20 years. I understand your anger with what the G League is, but that doesn't mean that teams are ever going to risk sending their young guys down to get some more time when traveling, being first team. You're with the coach. I mean, you're looking at Beauchamp, Greg, or Josh. He's with the team and the coach, and he's a part of that system. He has a role on that team. Yeah. You send him down, brand new role. The second he comes back up, he's probably going to be in the same role he's in now, except he's going to have the mentality of, I could do more, which is fine. Maybe that helps him. Maybe it doesn't. Not a fan of sending people that should be in the league down for playing time. That is a future play. We have just seen the last 6 NBA championship coaches outside of this year fired.
Yeah.
This is not a game for the long wait.
And Greg, the other side of that, your beloved NHL system, Eric Tangrady.
You mean, Votash's favorite player.
He went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and this was a kid that had all the tools, and maybe if they just would have let him stick on a roster.
There's and then also with the NHL too, it is a system and all that type base that comes with it. I get it. It's just, I think it's a good conversation about what is more important for a young player's development. Is it sticking around and being with the coach and the star player and not getting the time, or actually playing and trying to improve your game in real competition? I think they both have their
pluses and minuses. That's a sugar-coated way to talk about the G League, bud. To actually get playing time and get better that way is so secondary compared to being able to play against starters in the NBA, even in practice.
I think there's a good argument for both of them, though. I really do. I think when Johnny Jusang eventually, if he comes up, if Johnny Jusang develops into a all-star point guard, then it worked.
So here's an instance. So like the Indiana Pacers have 5 draft picks tonight. If all 5 of their guys are drafted, all 5 of them should realistically be on the NBA roster at the start of the season for them to either try to find a role for them or try to be better than a veteran that they bring in to outpace them or something, is the logic that I'm trying to understand from that perspective.
So you're using this one outlier of a team with 5 draft picks.
I'm not giving an outlier, Deke. I'm just saying
that is absolutely an outlier.
No,
in a 2-round draft to have 5 draft picks?
You just told me that I understand, but you just told me that draft picks should be one of their top 15.
Victor Wembanyama should go to the G League.
No, I don't, because
it's not an outlier. I'm just saying what it is.
But should Brandon Miller?
Greg?
No, Brandon Miller shouldn't.
Johnny Usang is better than Brandon Miller. The second he got drafted, he was better than Brandon Miller is right now.
I'd say he's probably better than Scoot Henderson.
Interesting.
I mean, it's a car on the lot versus a car off the lot, Greg. That's where I was at with that one.
No,
I get it. You can't tell me that a team having 5 draft picks isn't an untraditional draft.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
But I will give you back the fact that shows the devaluation of draft picks.
Right. Like there's so many teams tonight that just don't have picks and aren't picking. So that leads me to believe that developing talent and trying to focus on guys that you can build towards that is just not something that is cared about much in the NBA. But again, you bring it up yourself where 6 coaches were fired and many of them were guys that led to long playoff runs. Like if there is a true results driven game, it's the NBA.
It also doesn't benefit, if we're talking about the coach and the GM, it does not benefit them. If they have a guy that can even help a little bit, it does not benefit them to leave him down.
Yes.
Whereas, like,
in Greg's defense, the player deserves to be developed the proper way.
Right.
That is in the perfect world where unicorns shit rainbows, Greg. We are in the world that a franchise will literally do anything to win, meaning trading the next 7 years of draft picks for the Phoenix Suns. They don't give a shit about who develops. Right. They need to win. Right. That's the world we live in.
Mm-hmm. Although it is kind of funny, it's usually the teams that are in the rebuilding phases are kind of in essence like development teams.
That is a very good take.
They really are.
Get their really players to be good and then trade them away.
Yeah,
and look at the Thunder.
Bro, there's people that are saying the Thunder are going to be like dark horse NBA champion contenders this year, and I'm kind of like, oh boy.
But they did it through the draft, right? They drafted all those kids.
Harden, Westbrook, Durant, Ibaka. Did they draft Ibaka? Steve Adams they drafted.
Right, and then they sold them all, and now they're reloading it with the same exact playbook.
The only sad thing is they didn't do shit when they had them all.
Right, that'll be, but that may be a lessons learned.
Boston may be a better example where they
True.
They drafted, I guess they traded for Ray and KG, but they drafted Paul Pierce, and they drafted a lot of good guys, and then they traded them away, and then they drafted a ton of guys.
Yeah, I mean, they drafted both Jalen's, right?
Jason
Jason Tatum and Jalen.
I agree, Brown. Greg. Jason Tatum should have gone to the G League.
All right. I'm not going to touch that one.
I have to pee. Does anybody else have to pee?
Yeah, commercial break.
Okay, great.
All right, go ahead.
Marsha, I hope you like this song.
Always been the first to come to mind. I can't make a decision of what to do with her once she is mine. I've got to get closer, closer. I've got to get closer, closer. I got a proposition, one that's sure to save us both some time. Why don't you come home with me? Maybe then you will see I got just what you say you need. I don't know if you came here alone. Tell you're right, find another way home. 'Cause you're coming home alone with me. Tradition. She's got a very modern sense of class. I don't do superstition. I'll keep my fingers crossed that I make this last. I've got to get closer, closer. I've got to get closer, closer. I got a proposition, one that's sure to keep things moving fast. Why don't you come home with me? Maybe then you will see I got just what you say you need. I don't know if you can just what you say you need. I don't know if you came here alone. Tell you're right, you found another way home. 'Cause you're coming home alone with me. I don't know if you came here alone. Tell you're right, you found another way home. 'Cause you're coming home alone with me.
That be Maddie?
No. So good to know that Marsha likes that song better. That was Instead of Sleeping's Closer. My two best friends that I don't do a podcast with.
You have
Sounds
a
like you
lot of
should.
Wrote
best
that
friends,
song.
Ernest.
I
You
have
have a
I have six. I have six.
you have six.
I have
That's a
six.
lot of best friends, man.
I have six.
I have a bunch.
I have six. Four of them come in pairs.
Nice.
Nice. Okay.
So
okay.
you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to say.
What a
Yeah.
weird brag, Greg.
No,
It
that's
is
a
a
good-
weird
that's a-
flex.
best friends and they can pair them together.
Six best friends is a weird flex. It's like Recess, the TV show where
Yes.
TJ says he has 5 best friends. Yeah, that's a humble brag in and of itself.
It is, but also,
Recess.
I've been a best man twice.
Mm-hmm.
I do a
Flex.
podcast with two dudes that I talk to every fucking week. You may know them.
Flex.
And I am a godparent 3 times over, and I named another kid. So, like, I wasn't the godparent of that kid, but I got to pick its name. So, like, pretty tight.
I don't know how to say this without sounding like a jerk. What would you do if all 3 kids were in your possession tomorrow?
Oh, we would be having a blast.
Okay, all right, as long as-
I-
one of there's room is going to be that R2D2.
The newborn.
Yeah,
Well,
okay,
Nora's one, or more than one at this point. So, yeah, she can live in the R2D2.
What size shoe do you think Victor Wembanyama wears, Josh?
Oh, okay. So Graham Ike wears a 17, so I would imagine bigger than that.
Shaq wears a 22 for reference.
Right. So I'm gonna go. I'll split the difference. Go 20.
20 and a half, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know hoop. I know
Did you-
ball. I know
Did you
ball.
see? Did you see the picture of him holding a baseball the other day?
Creepy. It looks like an
I-
alien.
Oh my god! I didn't think it was real at first, and then I had to do a double take and was like, nope. Makes sense why he threw out a bad first pitch. Like he didn't know how to
Yeah.
properly grip it.
They asked him what he thought about people telling him that he needed to bulk up, and he said, "Have you seen the NBA now? I think everyone else needs to skinny up."
Not wrong.
I was like,
Fair
"Ah,
point.
Shout
Very
at
fair
Zion.
point.
Speaking
Oh
of
my God.
Zion,
Tub tub. Can I get a baby name draft when we're pregnant?" Sid said, "Yes, we will name your baby live on air."
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
What was that process
Sid
like, by the
Jr..
way, naming a kid? Was it difficult, or did you have ideas in your head?
I was given 2 picks. Sophia and I can't remember what the other name was.
So you
And
basically-
I picked Sophia.
So they said
So
pick
you-
between these two.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. So it was like an eeny, meeny, miny, mo type situation.
It was they both loved both names, and it was literally like she was born and they're like, we need a name, and they knew that I would be awake for whatever reason at 1:00 in the morning. Anyway, they were like, "Hey, what should we name our kid, Blank or Sophia?" And I can't remember what the original.
Blank is a wild.
Blank
name
is
for a
a
baby.
Blank would be
great
wild.
name.
I wonder what it was. I'll have to.
I said for
text Sean.
Sid, baby McBoogerface plus 75,000.
Oh, baby McBoogerface or
Sid, can the wheel decide your baby's
baby McBabyface.
Or baby, baby.
Rumors, yeah. So I didn't realize that trade went through this morning or last night late, I guess, Greg.
So it did.
So it's a different one. So
Okay.
Brogdon is so messed up they couldn't trade him. So what they did was they traded Marcus Moore. No, sorry.
Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart,
Smart.
thank you. Marcus Smart is with the Grizzlies.
Wow.
They sent
Good ad for the fucking Grizzlies.
who went to the third team.
the Wizards. The Wizards got like 3 players, one of them being Tyus Jones, I
Tyus
think.
Jones, yes.
Okay.
And so
And
then
then,
the Wizards got rid of Chris Paul because of it, but the Celtics did get a young big man.
Danilo
Oh.
Gallinari.
Shout out to Deke and I. We have had an incredible 2 days on the internet.
Facts.
An incredible 2 days.
The fact that you posted that and then the trade started about Porzingis
Literally.
is the greatest thing ever.
And then we're not doing numbies on it, but I tell you what, the Pittsburgh, that's a no-brainer. That's the no-brainer.
That was by far, I think, the quickest Canva I've ever put together. I was very proud of that.
Yeah, it's. I sent it to my brother, and he was like, "That should be on the strip tomorrow." Like,
How quick did you think of that? Just out of curiosity. Like, was it literally instant? Okay.
Because I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, dude, that's just like, I don't know. Like, it's so cliche. What's something they really haven't done yet? And I was like, honestly.
I mean, listen. I was in the strip like 2 weeks ago, and there's some fun stuff they have down there that would sell like hotcakes, especially at the one corner shop that's just all like Steelers pens and like Pirates merch and stuff. That would get over real well.
That
It's
nice
like one of the
table.
Yeah, the table or like one of the bootleg like carts that just have like all the different slots of shirts you want. Oh,
Yep.
Be perfect. I can imagine it right
wow,
now.
Marty Smith in jean shorts is not something I know I needed to see today, but there it is.
Marty
Shout out
Smith
to the
doing it.
draft party.
Marty Smith doing another thing is not something I wanted to see last week, but Josh sent me anyway, so thank you
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
shout out to that.
Yeah, thanks,
His
jerk.
Olong Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do?
You sent him a picture of him naked.
No, the video is
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't see the video.
You didn't see the video? Don't watch the video. Don't watch the video.
What did
Stop
I send?
texting without me.
You sent me an E60 feature of
Oh, the
him.
guy drinking his own
no,
piss.
No.
What a wild story that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
That was Marty Smith, folks.
Rumors that are going on though. The big one for me, if we're going to talk rumors, is what's going to happen tonight with Dame.
Yep.
So Dame has come out and said that, I guess the team came out and said that anybody that is trying to trade Dame, they've shut down. But the flip of it is Dame was like, I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. Now, if Brandon Miller goes too, which he's on the phone right now.
Which he did. It is official.
Can you have some showmanship?
Sorry. With
For
the number
fuck's sake.
2 overall pick in the NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Brandon Miller, forward, Alabama.
That was great. And I wish I didn't have to pull it out of you.
Sorry. I'll do it for 3, I promise.
I would be shocked if you need to do it for 3.
If I need to? Why wouldn't I?
Meaning that it's going to be Scoot.
I
you
mean,
should, but I would be like if something else happens, I would be.
if it's not the Trailblazers who make the pick though? That would be the wild part.
Yeah, I wonder who it would be. It's a good thought. So, anyways, yeah, this pick coming up right now. I mean, Portland's been vocal; they want to take Scoot, but Dame's vocal; he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. I think Dame's going to go down as one of the biggest what ifs in NBA history.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Not in terms of him being a bust, but in terms of what if they would have gotten him some help. Who's the best player he's ever played with? I can think of 2.
Probably CJ, I would guess, is one.
And LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's true. Yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge, like Loki, is probably the. LaMarcus Aldridge might have been the guy that kind of like was the one who really kind of pushed the agenda for him about wanting to stay in Portland, because technically
he wanted to stay.
Aldridge did want to stay. They didn't want to give him a contract because I guess of his injury history, so he ended up going to San Antonio and being a role player. So worked out well for him in that case. But I don't know what it is about Portland, but damn, they do not want to let guys go.
Well, here's a really good what if. What if Bill Walton was healthy?
What if Greg Oden was healthy?
What if they just would have, I don't know, taken the better players?
Kevin Durant, yeah.
It's tough, dude.
What if they would have taken Kevin Durant?
Yeah. That's
what if?
I think the interesting thing about his is that it's a what if of, again, he didn't do anything wrong. He's one of the best shooting or point guards I've ever seen.
It's fascinating with the Greg Oden Kevin Durant draft when you think about it, is that because Greg Oden was looked at as like, the prototypical center that every NBA team covets, as
Yes.
like a guy that could be like the center of your team. And then it was around that time that Steph entered the league and kind of changed the narrative about how like it's all shooting, it's all 3-point shooting and stuff. And that kind of became the narrative now. Two of the last three NBA champions were run based on big men, Giannis and Jokic. And also you could throw Embiid in there too as like a guy that's
No, they're not
consistently
NBA champions. Shut
no,
up.
but has been consistently competing for MVPs though. So are we kind of going backwards to a degree now where the center has to take on more of a bigger role than we imagined? Or is it simply just the fact that teams are now taking advantage of the fact that because of how wide open of a game it is, it's now easier for guys down low to dominate?
Here's what it is. Full transparency. One, I don't consider Giannis a big man, even though he is, because I see him at the small. But you're right, he's a big man. He's 6'9". So Giannis has something the other two don't, which is he could take 2 steps and get through the entire court. Right? He's just he's the freak for a reason. When you look at Embiid and Jokic, genuinely, they both shoot the long ball well. They both can sit at the foul line and pass all 4 points looking. So you can run an offense through a big man that's able to be that high and hit those corner jumpers, as well as a guy that can stretch the three. So especially when you're fighting against a zone, because everybody that's moving around, Joker's standing there, he's going to beat his guy every time. So then you got to bring support over. That's why you put shooters around them. That's why both of those big men succeed so well in today's NBA. When you have the shooters dominating the game and you play on the perimeter defense for them, so if you're playing against the Warriors, you're playing against one of these other 3-point shooting good teams, you can compete it with good guards. It's tough to compete against a large man like Joker that has the vision of some of the greatest point guards we've seen, to be full transparent, with his ability to rebound, pass, his assists are off the charts. That's why I think we find success there in those big men, and why guys like Karl Anthony Towns are not successful.
Huh. I'm so the cat thing is just
not a
something
dig.
like,
that's a real thing.
oh, I get it, and I really like Cat, but like he has to be healthy before I can even consider him on that level. First off, and
But
he's
even
too
AD's a different big man, and you know how much I love him. Like all the big men in the NBA today, you have Joker, you have Embiid. There's a big drop off after that. For Giannis can be in there too. I'll agree with you there. Big drop off in my opinion after that.
Yeah, but I do think it's fascinating though that from the aspect that the game had become so much more wide open that now it's kind of like almost reverting backwards to a degree, but it's reverting backwards to a degree where now we're seeing centers are not the prototypical centers anymore. It's way more of like guys that have to be able to kind of run an offense or be able to pass and be able to pop up and all that and stuff like that. So it's a fascinating take on that one. So it's kind of why Zach Edey is not going to be drafted today. Not so much the fact that he's not there anymore, but for the fact that like it's not the center that the NBA teams are looking for. And Portland's pick is in right now, and I'm curious what's going to happen here because I didn't realize this, by the way. Scoot apparently was working out with Dame in like preparation for the draft and stuff. So I'm just saying like this would be interesting. And Silver's at the mic. So we'll see. With the third pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Portland Trailblazers select Scoot Henderson. That's a lot of
Zach Edey did not declare.
Yeah.
He tested.
He tested, but he didn't declare.
No, but like he tested, went through the process and stuff, and they told him, no, you're not for this, and was like, all right, I'm going back.
They were like, hey man, you should be Van Wilder. So then comes up a couple different questions here, boys. The Lakers are at 17. There's a couple teams that have some talent and some picks that could trade Dame. I'm more on the side where I don't think Dame gets moved because I'm tired of getting my hopes up that stuff happens. It almost never happens. So I'm interested to see what happens tonight. We'll see.
I think him and Scoot are going to be a fun backcourt together. I really, really do. I think they complement each other very well. Scoot is way more of the passer, and the guy can shoot and can pull up mid range, and Dame is the elite shooter. I think
28-9 against Victor Wembanyama when they played.
Really, that's fun. I like that. I like the comparisons. I liked a lot of the comparisons that they were getting. Like he's a Russell Westbrook type player
Yes.
where he can't shoot, but he can drive.
He's gonna be a freak athlete.
Oh yeah, and he's 19. Like it's not like there's anything wrong with him taking time to develop. It's just does Dame have the patience for it? I truly think because they worked out together and because they have a rapport together, I think this will keep Dame in Portland. I think it will.
I hope so, man. I mean, we'll see because it was Dame himself who was kind of like, I don't want to be a part of a rebuild. But I don't think if you're taking one of these guys in the draft, I'm not going to put Scoot as a rebuild guy. Scoot is a weapon. Scoot is a guy that does not deserve to go to the G League his first year, Josh, just so we're all on the same page about that. But Scoot's ready now. Scoot is a guy that I think if it wasn't this draft, it's interesting he fell to 3, and I say fell.
Yeah.
I think the last 3 years he's arguably the top pick.
That's a lot of swag in that backcourt, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for him.
Yeah, that's a lot of dog in that backcourt, and I love it. I'm all
got that
here
dog
for it.
in him.
You got that dog in them.
When I'm curious when the Spurs and Trailblazers play. He's gonna dunk on Victor Wembanyama.
I don't think they've released the schedule yet.
No.
No, they got some time for that. But getting to the rumor aspect of the part that we were bringing this up. I'm so happy Kristaps Porzingis is in an environment that I think he will succeed very well in because he was with the Knicks. Arguably that draft a lot of people didn't like the pick, but he proved himself to be a very competent player. He doesn't like being there. He goes to Dallas. He can't play well with Luka. Luka doesn't want him as his Robin. He goes to Washington, puts up career numbers last year as kind of the focal point with Beal hurt. And now he's in an offense with Tatum and Brown, where he's a much more athletic 5 than Al Horford, which is something that you were calling for specifically, Deke.
Thank you.
All they essentially need is to get their backcourt situation kind of figured out now that they don't have Marcus Smart anymore, and Celtics are back up there, man. I love this. I love this move for Kristaps Porzingis. I think a lot of Boston Celtics like diehards are upset about losing Marcus Smart because of how good of a defensive player he is, how good of like a six man
he is. The first guard to win Defensive Player of the Year since Peyton.
Damn. Hate to see that, but I'm just pointing this out here. There could be a conspiracy theorist that we are all friends with that might push for another point guard to get back to Boston and try to revitalize something, which I hope doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't understand Dre's obsession with saying that teams need Kyrie Irving. It doesn't really make sense to any human.
Go ahead.
I think he just wants Kyrie to be redeemed because he believes Kyrie's not a bad person. And to a degree, I don't think Kyrie's a bad person. I just think Kyrie gets his foot in his mouth a lot, and it screws him.
How much does Kristaps Porzingis affect the Robert Williams situation in Boston?
What do you mean by the Robert Williams situation?
Is that are they looking to use Porzingis as a spell? A stretch 4? Like, yeah, where does he? Because one of my coworkers yesterday brought it up that the Celtics' real problem is that they don't have enough depth at center to deal with the fact that when Williams isn't playing, they suck. And I mean, there's definitely part of that's true. And I thought maybe having Kristaps gave them the ability to run now I know he's over 7 foot, but a smaller lineup and maybe not suffer as much as when they ran a smaller lineup before.
I think a more nimble lineup is a right.
Nimble's a great word.
Because it's not that it's a small, but it's nimble, and it's not a meaty boy. It's not, Baby Davis is not a small guy.
Glenn Big Baby Davis. That's a blast from the past right there.
I think the thing that they were missing, and that's the other thing, is Williams is good, but he's not great. So he's a good defensive presence.
He's also only 25.
Yes, and the one thing that I had said is my guess last week when we talked about it was Steven Adams, because Steven Adams doesn't offer them what Porzingis offers them, but he does offer the exact same thing as Williams, which is a big man underneath, big body, very tough guy. The thing that Kristaps situation lets me understand is that they are going to go that more nimble route and try to beat teams to death with the 3-ball.
Yep.
Which Porzingis can do perfectly in that.
Yes.
He's kind of like he's the new age type of center that we were kind of discussing and all that,
Right.
but I just think he never was in the situation for him to kind of help him succeed to that degree.
Yeah, that was. I mean, you guys backed up what I ended up saying in the moment. Was that like I think what it does is it gives them a smaller lineup that does not suffer when he's not in, and when they're both in, you're fucked. You're fucked.
I think I know who's next, Greg, but I don't know which one it is. So
Oh, is it one of the Thompson twins? Okay.
it was a phone call that
I
happened.
don't know. I can't tell either of them apart, so I couldn't tell you either.
I'm just
So-
really glad that Hunter
Nice.
Thompson is getting drafted.
In what draft?
Hey, you draft Big Country, you're drafting a friend for life. Okay,
Fair.
just saying.
The
Just
other
saying.
name on here, shout out to Mariah Mills, Zion. So did you find the
Ugh.
clip of me saying that he wasn't getting traded?
No, but I
Okay.
know it happened because
I
I'm the
believe
one
you.
that presented it, and you were like, "Josh, you're crazy," and I was like, "I don't know, man." Like,
Here's the thing that the rumor that came out is they're less likely to move Brandon Ingram than Zion. To me, I will give credit to this Mariah Mills situation as what might move him.
Yeah.
True.
But I think that New Orleans gave up too much to an Anthony Davis, who was one of their, I mean, he second best player in franchise history, maybe, behind Chris Paul.
best Pelicans players.
That stuff
ever. I'm on it.
stuff gets really messy because it was the Hornets and
No,
then it
the
gets
city of
reverted
New
to
Orleans,
Charlotte.
Greg. The city
Okay,
of New
fine.
Orleans.
City of New Orleans, yeah, that's fair. That's fair then. No, it was Amen who ended up going for.
Okay, thank you. Well, that was
problem.
do your thing.
Well, I'm sorry. We were
Do
you
it. Do
were
it. Do
in.
it. No, do it. It's a
I don't
draft.
interrupt. It already happened. With the 4th overall pick
It
in
already
the
happened.
2023 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets, who desperately need to develop players in the worst fucking way, select Amen Thompson, guard from Overtime Elite, who nobody saw play at all whatsoever.
All right, you
I'm
ready for
ex-
the
Facts.
top 10 Pelicans?
Real quick, I just
Go
want
for
to
it.
point out. I want to point out I'm very excited to see this next pick for Detroit because I was in Detroit when I saw them get bodied by the fact that they lost
Yeah.
the number 1 overall pick. So I'm very excited to see what Detroit
I'm
ends
glad
up
one of
getting.
them was not in there to
Hunter
rot.
Maldonado.
All right,
Go ahead.
10.
10, Tyson Chandler.
Yes.
Yeah.
His best years weren't there, but yes.
9, Eddie Jones.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
8,
Throwback.
Del Curry.
Yes. Well, that
my
was so that was is this the Hornets?
That
This-
has to be.
This says the Pelicans.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna
Now
say, 'cause
this is where it gets I agree, Greg.
This
'Cause
is
he
where
was
it
a
gets
Charlotte
dicey.
guy. But
This
let's
is
keep
where it
it. Let's
gets
keep it. I like it.
dicey,
Because
yeah.
the franchise moved and then the Bobcats absorbed the Hornets
Yeah.
name. So technically I get you, Greg.
It's so dicey, but go ahead.
Jamal Mashburn.
I don't know that
Mm,
name.
I don't either, actually.
The
He
hell
played.
of a last
He
name,
played from 2000 to 2004.
though. Oh, okay.
Baron Davis.
Baron Davis?
Baron
oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry,
I'm
Deke.
all listen, I'm
okay.
all here for
Sorry.
it.
You would know him from the Warriors.
Oh,
Yes.
Bernan
He was
Poole?
remember when the Warriors had like the guy that was like the and one character on their
Yes.
jersey?
Yeah.
That was Baron Davis.
Okay.
Or yeah.
Bernan
yeah, he
Poole.
was-
Yes.
That's him.
He was on that Warriors team that was the I think it was they were the 8th seed that beat the
Yes.
that beat the Spurs, I think, in the first round.
This must be Hornets because this says Charlotte or Glenn Rice.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep. David West.
Yep.
Yep.
Loved
David
him in
West.
Philly. Or not Philly, Jesus. Indiana.
Indiana, yeah. Oh, that team that got bodied by the Heat, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because this has Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, so that doesn't count. And then one they have Chris Paul.
Okay.
Wait, Anthony Davis wasn't on there?
Nope. Not in top 10.
Because I think they're including Charlotte, so you got to include Larry Johnson in there. And
Well, yeah, but he's better. I mean, Anthony Davis is better than Del Curry.
Straight up Google says
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's fair.
DeMarcus Cousins is added to that list.
Oh,
Boogie
he was there for like a minute.
doesn't matter. The
And then AD
the
and
dream,
Eric
But
Gordon
the
are the other
dream-
two.
The dream of Boogie and AD together was so strong. It was so strong. I wish it worked out.
This other list has Drew Holiday.
All right. Can we play a game?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I do love Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday was awesome. I'll give you that.
Drew Holiday is awesome, except for
Still is.
we need a real point guard. All right.
Ooh. Which, by the way, Chris Middleton did apparently opt out of his player option, so he will be a free agent.
Fucking Christ. All right. They are off and running.
Yes.
Everybody's running really fast today. Oh my god. Oh my god. Best arcade games. Squeaks it out over go-to drinks when you don't know what you want. So best arcade games is the draft today.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna run them again and find out who goes when.
That's a big one.
There's a lot in this one too, I think.
Best
Amen Thompson on splitting up with his brother after the draft. He got to keep the PS5. I'm losing everything. It's like a bad divorce.
That's elite.
I would have said whoever gets drafted lower gets the PS5 because the other
I
one gets a
would
little more
say.
money.
I was gonna, yeah, that's kind of that's the proper thing to do here, you know.
Okay, the
Oh,
draft
that's funny.
order is. I messed this up. Okay, Deke, me, Greg.
Nice. Oh, for GOAT arcade games.
So, do you want to go Snake or do you want to? What do you want to do?
Let's do Snake because this one is. I think this one would be easy for me to crush if I was able to do
Sure.
the fourth pick too.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Oh wow, I won. Did it really
You won
finish like
both.
that?
Yep.
Deke, Josh, Greg. Wow.
Yep.
That's the draft order. Guess I go twice.
I have thought about doing that, but then I imagined us trying to do that.
Oh, it would destroy us.
I just don't think we're coordinated enough.
No, not at all.
Okay, Deke, 1.
And these are box arcade games.
Yes, we're talking about you went to
Quarters.
Aladdin's arcade and you played the cabinet stand-up game.
Who's Aladdin? Is that
That
your
was
name?
that was the one in the Butler Mall.
Gotcha.
I was gonna
Gotcha,
say, why
gotcha.
don't you pick some like a generic one like Chuck E. Cheese or Discovery Zone or something? You know, like
Because that's Josh.
Well, but
Uh,
also Chuck E. Cheese didn't always just have whatever every other arcade had.
Yeah.
So like
okay, that's fair.
you know what I mean? So like if there was a Chuck E. Cheese game that you're like into, then yeah, knock it out. Like go
I
for
think
it.
there's also a machine that you need to name the variation of it, but we'll get to that when it cross
Okay.
to it.
All right.
It's the greatest arcade game ever. There's a couple niche ones that I know that I've had more fun playing or done more with, but there is no bigger arcade game, and there is a variation in this, and I understand it. I'm gonna go with Mrs. Pac-Man.
Oh wow. Wow.
Okay.
I think it's the single greatest because there was the original, and then there was the update, which is the exact same thing, but with the prettiest pink bow on her head. Give me Mrs. Pac-Man. Everyone can play it.
Did
There's
not
no
see
downside.
this coming.
Which, by the way, and real quick, with the 5th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons select Ozzer Thompson,
That
the
was
other
good.
twin.
I like that.
The other
Okay.
twin.
Him and Kate are
Twins
gonna
go
be fun.
back to back. The twins go back to back. I like it.
You didn't see that coming?
I did not.
I think that's the greatest arcade game ever.
I'm sitting here with all 3 of my 1-1s.
That's fine. Because here's the thing. You also said that during the album draft.
You did.
Shut the fuck up, Greg.
Yeah,
I
Greg,
would have
you
had
suck,
all
too.
of them if you were trying to pick my pocket the whole fucking
I literally
draft.
got Greg's 2 favorite albums of all time because you guys went dick for dick.
That's true. That's very true. I got petty. I got
Window
petty and I
grinder
paid
side
for
by
it.
side.
Somebody texted me and
Uh,
said, "What were they doing?" I said, "I don't know."
I don't know either.
Mm.
It was bad.
We went down a drain pipe and it ended up being very bad.
Okay, I mean, I can't believe that this is sitting here. Just give me the straight up The Simpsons. Why is there silence on the other end of the phone?
I'm
Because
like
you're
throwing.
definitely picking an extremely niche, nostalgic category.
The Simpsons? Where you're Bart and you're on the skateboard?
I don't recall that one. No.
Not once.
No.
Okay,
Never
so this,
have I put a quarter into that.
this
No.
has to be the gap. You know what I'm talking about, though. No? This has to
I
be an
don't
age
think
gap
so,
thing.
no.
In a
This
list of
has
the
to
best
be an age
arcade
gap
games,
thing.
this is not on it.
Absolutely, it is the Simpsons arcade game.
It's not.
I'm calling
I'm
Justin
so
Boyd.
excited
I'm
for your
calling
other
Justin
two.
Boyd right
I'm so
fucking
excited
now.
for your
Oh
other
my
2
God.
arcade games. No, tell him what number you took it at.
He's gonna be like, yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Let's see
Sid
if
said
he picks
Simpsons
up.
is okay, so it's an old person thing.
Oh, it's an old person. Hang on. Let's see if Boyd picks up.
Oh my God.
Okay, it's a side scroller.
Well, I guess we know how good of friends I am with Boyd.
Here, I'll try.
If he picks up for you and he doesn't pick up for me, I'm gonna be pissed.
Greg, try calling him too.
He won't pick up for me. I guarantee it.
Not with that attitude.
Nope, he's not picking up. This
It's
is
an
a
age
bummer.
gap, dude. I'm with you. I'd die on this hill. March
Okay,
with a
thank
vacuum.
you.
Okay.
Thank
well,
you.
Sid's 45.
Well, I don't give a shit how old Sid. Yeah, Marge with the vacuum. Yes, 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 yes. All yes.
Okay.
Sid, that was one of mine. 100%. The other one you named, underneath the smiley face, like, what are we fucking doing here? All right, Greg, you're up for 2. What the fuck are we doing here? All right, Greg's up for 2.
Okay. My first one is gonna be Street Fighter. Trying to remember
Okay.
which one. Trying to remember which one.
You can
think
just
it's
take Street Fighter.
Yeah, I'm
Street Fighter
okay with that.
Yeah.
To me, every arcade had a different one. You don't need to name.
Mhm.
I'm very
Okay.
okay with that.
yeah,
Yep.
Street Fighter. I think was an obvious one. And then it's a classic one. Space Invaders. Like obvious one.
Yes,
Like shooting,
that
like
is-
shooting through your shield to try to like attack the targets. Like, come on.
In
You
terms
guys
of
are
overall
on
best,
fucking mushrooms.
hear
What
me
are you
out.
talking about?
That is on the greatest arcade games of all time.
I'm not
Yes.
disputing that, but there's like, all right, I'm back.
I'm okay with Greg taking both those because they weren't on my board. But Space Invaders deserves respect.
Yeah, there was literally a Futurama episode that was built around Space
Excuse me.
Invaders. It was great. Which, by the way, I can't wait for the next season.
I'm
never
taking
so many
the
seasons.
X-Men board or the X-Men arcade game.
Ah, that's a good one.
Shout out
That's
to
a
Sid in the
great one.
chat.
How is that not? How was that not in your first 2 picks?
It's okay. I had it for Sega.
I had, well, I also did, but I had Street Fighter as another like button masher, and Space Invaders as a classic. So that's the logic I was going with.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
I won the draft.
I'm having an existential crisis.
That's fine because these next two.
There's no
It's-
way. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Give me the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade game.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank
that's a
you.
great one.
Thank
That's a good
you.
one.
I
That's
That's
a
what
good
feel
one.
mean.
a lot better.
I needed the number 1, which was Mrs. Pac-Man, and now we're getting into it.
Okay, okay. Turtles in Time, absolutely, no doubt. Yes. All time, that was when I was talking about my top 3 that I had, I was okay with having one. It was Simpsons, X-Men, and Turtles in Time.
Yes.
Yes, Turtles in
And
Time,
then
absolutely.
to win the draft in the third pick, give me NBA Jam.
Yes.
Oh shit!
Yes.
I was waiting for that. Damn it.
You can't wait for that.
Hey,
Greg.
yeah, how
Damn
did
it.
you wait for that? You took
No.
fucking Street Fighter. Do you know what I'm gonna take at 3? Mortal Kombat, which is a much better game.
It
You
is-
fucking
it is.
moron.
I like Street Fighter. And
What
I know
the
Mortal
fuck
Kombat's
is
better.
wrong with you? God damn it, Greg! You passed up on Turtles in Time, NBA Jam, and Mortal Kombat, and X-Men.
Oh god.
God damn! God damn! You guys were really fucking making me stroke out for a second.
You can't tell me that Mrs. Pac-Man doesn't deserve to get drafted. And you might disagree with where I took it, but that
Draft
is.
it does.
absolutely.
It does.
I have Miss
Absolutely.
Pac-Man as the greatest arcade game ever.
Holy fuck.
Now, if we're talking about what Derek played in nostalgia, you're getting closer with
NBA
Turtles
Jam.
in Time and NBA Jam because NBA
Yes.
Jam is,
The best.
in my mind, the greatest.
The best.
Mhm.
But when you look at the categories, Miss Pac-Man deserves her roses.
Okay. Wow. This kind of feels like when everyone on Pardon My Take threw the pizza toppings draft. That's where I thought we were going.
Nope.
I thought that's where we were going. Okay, Greg, you're up for 2.
First one is Marvel vs. Capcom.
Okay. Okay, a newer one, but sure.
Yes, the fact that I could play, vaguely recall playing that, and I remember being able to use either Cyclops or Spider-Man
Yep.
or some of
Great.
that shit was awesome. Yes, and then I'm thinking of this just because of the Seinfeld episode. Give me Frogger.
Frogger is a great,
Sure,
great pick.
absolutely. Goat, legend, no doubt.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know if the game quite translates, but I'll tell you right now, the game will be talked about forever.
Yes, absolutely. Sitting here, can't believe that I'm taking NFL Blitz with my 4th pick.
Yep.
Mm,
If I would have got that in Jam, we would have been in a big issue here.
Big
boys.
problem.
Yeah.
And I understand where like maybe the age gap matters here for the Simpsons, but like I feel really good about my list right now. NFL Blitz. So there's a barcade in the plaza, and Anastasia played NFL Blitz for the first time when we first moved here,
No way.
and she was
Wow.
like, "This game is awesome." As
that
like
game
literally he like suplexes the guy when he tackles him. She's like, "Why aren't all the video games like this?" I was like, "Good question. I don't have an answer."
excellent point. Yes.
Yes. Deke is up for 2.
All right, we're getting into the. So these are my last two.
Yep, your last 2.
Wow.
Do you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. You
We
want
can
to
make this.
do
We can do 10. We can do 10.
Okay, we'll do 10. All right.
Yeah.
10.
Because
So you're up
now
for
we're getting
2.
into the category of me looking around the bar and saying, what do I want to play first? So I'm going to go with House of the Dead.
Yes.
I think in my mind, the greatest shooter. There's a lot of good ones. There's another one that's up there that everyone loves. House of the Dead was my shooter.
Okay.
Okay.
And now we're getting into what I will consider the more experience-driven arcade games.
Ooh.
Give me the Jurassic Park arcade game.
Wow. Wow.
I
That's a
used to
good
save my
one.
money to go down to Myrtle Beach, and Nico and I would, every time we had to wait for the key, we had to wait an hour when we got down there. Nico and I would sprint to that game and beat it. And it was just the most fun you can have while sitting down.
So they did a follow-up to that game that was never in cabinet, but it was on Super Nintendo, and it was called Jurassic Park: More Chaos.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
That's the name
God.
of the
I love that.
That's awesome.
Holy shit, that's a good one. That's a good one. There is a arcade festival kind of thing that happens at the PPG Convention Center called Up Up Down Down. Nothing to do with Xavier Woods. Calm down, Greg.
I was gonna say, wait, yeah, that might be gimmick infringement right there.
But one
Infringement.
of my favorite from that one, and it was something I discovered later in life, was Wizard of War. So Wizard of War is kind of I don't think Twin Dragons was not a stand-up. So basically you're a shooter, right? You're shooting a gun at like these snake things that come through, and it's kind of like Pac-Man where you're trying to work through to the middle of the maze, but you're like shooting, and it's great. Wizard of War, awesome fucking game. Go check it out. Greg, you're up for 2.
Okay, so trying to think of some options here.
Think hard.
I'm trying to remember. Was the other shooter one that I think I remember. Was it Spy Hunter?
That's not the one I'm thinking of, but I would assume that is one.
I thought it was Spy Hunter because I vaguely remember it from Dave and Buster's. I think like from a couple
It is
years
an
ago.
arcade game. Spy Hunter
Okay.
is an arcade game.
Nice.
Okay, there's that one, and then I'm gonna go with. I don't know if this counts or not, so I want to make sure that this is okay.
Okay.
Believe Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yep.
That
will
very
shout-
much counts.
Okay, do want to make sure because I remember it at an arcade, but I also know it was.
No,
big on
that
Yes.
counts.
Yep,
That
yep.
is an
Okay.
arcade game.
Yep,
That is one
you're
of the
right, you're
greatest
right.
games. Yeah.
Okay,
You're
all
right,
right.
you're
Just
right.
want to make sure.
Wow. I don't know how else to describe this. The basketball shooting game.
I was questioning.
That's at an arcade.
Yeah, but okay.
Because if
If
that was
it's-
the case, my 1-1 was gonna be something else then.
Okay, so we're sticking with video games then. That's fine.
I'm with you, but may I bring up the counter? Skee ball.
That's exactly what my
Absolutely,
1-1
yeah.
would have been.
Do you think that is an
Okay.
arcade game or no? Because
I mean-
I avoided it because I was like, we're talking about console arcade games, but technically both of those have a hard console. Because Josh, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to give
Yeah.
that to you because there's the ones that have like the whole setup or whatever. There's ones that are hard console ones. I will. Yes. Sid, stop naming fucking things in the chat and maybe we'll take it. Hate this guy. I will give you that, and I'm not gonna touch skee ball because we use it as an example.
Let's just redefine it as video games.
Okay.
And we'll come back to like arcade things later. Okay.
Cool. Because I was thinking Papa Shot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's a million. Whack-a-mole. Yeah.
Yes.
Give me track and field.
That's a good one.
It's a classic.
Annoying one, but a good one.
That's if they have it, it probably doesn't work. But it's fucking great. Deke, you're up for 2.
So, I have one that I'm going to toss out that it might be in the same vein
Okay.
that we can judge as a group. Dance Dance Revolution.
I think that counts.
Okay. Greg?
Yeah, I would say as well. I would count it.
And I'm
Okay.
actually ashamed that it lasted this long.
That's where I'm at. And so that's why I was
Yeah.
asking first. I want to take it, obviously. But to me, it's like that had a stranglehold on the world.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. At home, everywhere. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So
That
I'll
was
take-
a great one.
It's a game at an arcade, not an arcade game. Sid said that's fair.
There is one still out there that I have not taken out of respect for you.
Me?
Yes.
I never played it.
No, you definitely played it. I played it with you. Greg played it with you.
Fair. I thought you were talking about another one that I was. Yeah, yeah, it's a fair point, man.
That's like
that gets into a new category because there's another one that's really good. Yeah. Thank you. I will gladly take Golden Tee.
okay, thank you.
Alright,
It was like
yeah.
sitting for way too long.
For me, I'm thinking about my local bar right now, and it doesn't have one. But you're right. My actual local bar does. The arcade bar does not. So yeah, Golden Tee. Thank you, Sid, for saying DDR counts. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
insight.
DDR absolutely counts. It's getting a little thin, boys.
You should have taken. Oh, I got a few more. You should have taken Golden Tee, and I would have cried.
I could not, in good faith, knowing that you and I both have prized possessions that are trapped at Union Fitness right now.
Fair.
We may never get back. I could not take it from you. If we were doing like best cardboard cutouts and you took the rock, I'd be pissed, you know?
Fair. Touche.
Man. Give me Tetris.
It's a great answer.
Solid pick.
It's one of my favorite games of all time. This was a Josh pick for sure.
So fun. The movie's great too. If you guys haven't seen it,
I have not checked it out yet. I'm excited to. I
it's
just got Apple
amazing.
TV back so I could watch Ted Lasso,
Yep.
Shrinked, and if you're not watching Platonic with Seth Rogen, you're fucking up. You're
Oh, is that the
fucking
one
up.
with Rose Byrne? I've
Yep.
heard good
Yep.
things about it. Okay.
It's so good. All right, Greg, you're up for 2.
I want to see if this one counts. Daytona, USA.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't that?
It's
count?
because I mean you are sitting and driving, so like I didn't
I'm
know
sitting
we were.
and shooting dinosaurs in Jurassic Park.
Yep.
All right, fair.
No, driving games absolutely count. That's what Sid's
All right.
been all huffy about in the chat.
To be fair, we waited a really long time to take a driving game.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
I was
in love with a lot of them, but I agree. That's
and-
because I'm
and
bad
thi-
at them.
And this one is also kind of a somewhat of a driving game, but I have fond memories of it though because it was at I remember it being at a bar called the Baltimore House when I was younger, and I remember playing it. It's called Arctic Thunder.
Yeah, the boats.
Yeah, the boat. It was like a boat, but you were also like it was like on in like ice,
Yeah,
like type culture and
you
thing
got a
like
big
that.
booster and shit.
Yeah.
So I don't. What I just googled, it's snowmobiles.
Yes, that's what it
Oh, it's
was. Okay. Yeah,
snowmobiles.
the snowmobile
Okay.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see it now. Yeah. My bad. You ride that shit.
Yeah,
All right, Greg, get up there on that seat, my guy.
that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Um, mine. I don't know if any place actually had this arcade game or if it was just Family Sports Center in Butler, PA. Give me Area 51.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
That's a real one.
That's a real one. Not a good one, but it's a real one.
Yeah, it's a real one.
Deke, you are up for 8 and 9.
I'm just back to back. I'm cleaning up the nostalgia here. Give me Donkey Kong and Dig Dug.
Ah, great ones.
Give
Great
me
ones.
give me all of the ones that I would want if I owned an arcade bar.
It would be hard, I think, to get an original cabinet of that up and running at this point.
The Dig Dug?
A Dig Dug. Yeah, the Dig Dug at Up Down does not work.
Our Up Down Dig Dug works.
Oh, yeah? Wait, is Up Down like a chain?
Mhm.
Oh.
Here they just play wrestling movies on the TV.
Yeah, same! That's what I told Greg!
Yeah, it's up. Yeah, Greg's been to the Up Down here. I think you have.
Yeah, it was right next to Smith and Lentz, right? Like a
Yeah.
block or two away. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man, there's good pizza and an arcade bar? Fuck me.
And pizza at the. Do you have pizza at your Up Down?
No.
Oh,
maybe.
we have dollars. We have like $2 slices.
Maybe. Oh, that'd be... Actually, I think we do.
It's so cool.
And I just don't think I've ever checked it out. Shit. Oh, fucking Gauntlet.
Yep.
Why did I let that go so long?
I don't know if I remember that one.
So Gauntlet is probably better known as Gauntlet Legends on N64.
Okay, that rings a bell.
But
All right.
was an all time for me and my brother and my friends. Yeah, Gauntlet.
Okay.
Greg, your last two.
I will go with the original Pac-Man,
Yep, that's
I didn't feel right taking that, but that
Yeah.
lasted too long.
and then I'm going to pick I'm gonna go Double Dragon.
I don't know that was an arcade game.
I thought it was.
I have Double Dragon. Oh, Chinese restaurant. Well, that's different.
I could go for some Chinese food actually.
I
now
have
that
Double
think-
Dragon arcade game on here, Josh.
Okay, yeah, it is. Yep, Greg, that's
Never
a great
played
one.
it, but
Great.
I've
one.
never seen that.
I remember
only
it from-
Go ahead.
I remember it from Sega, but I also distinctly remember
Right.
playing it at arcade before as well. So
That's what I only knew it as a Nintendo game.
Please,
Oh,
if mine falls,
pole
I'll be so happy.
position.
Ah, nice.
That's a good one. That's another good one. Another old one, but all right, Derek, go ahead and seal your draft with 10.
I can't believe it fell. Give me Rampage.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's
It's
a
funny
solid
because
one.
I don't think of Rampage as an arcade game.
Yep.
Think of it as
Much
the
like
movie.
Double Dragon. Yeah. No, not the movie. You fucking
What?
kidding me? I
That's the
love The
first thing that
Rock, but
comes
come on.
Greg.
We've done a
What?
different draft where we just named Rock. Well, Derek.
I
named
used to
Rock.
know his name in that movie.
Yeah,
For
sure.
one
At
draft.
point you did. At one point you
Spence.
did.
No, it wasn't Spencer. It was.
The
Todd.
amount of research that you did for that one is second to none. I will give you that.
That was the best draft ever. Rampage movie. What's his name?
The Rock. Davis Oyoki.
Yeah, I
Oyoki.
couldn't really. I'd give a shot at his last name. That was a tough one. Okoye.
Okoye.
Oh, that's probably the correct pronunciation.
Good job, guys.
We
That
did
was
it! Yay!
Both of those correct. Yeah, the NBA draft is still going on. I lost all the names after the first 5 picks. Don't know anyone else, so that's okay. But we'll see what happens if trades, if anything comes through. Good show as always, boys. There is an episode of The Vault dropping tomorrow where I am on it, and I call out our tiff with them to start the show. So it was about the funniest bowl game names. So highly recommend.
Oh
Check it out.
God,
Oh.
that's gotta be wild.
I mean, like it's tough because like the Tostitos Bowl was a big deal, but it's also a pretty funny fucking bowl name.
Yeah,
It's
I would
funny
highly recommend checking out at least our descriptions of the bowls. So it's good. But another wonderful show, gentlemen.
As always, of course.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day is a sin. Sid said that, and
that's a good
Cruisin'
one.
USA and
Cruisin'
T2.
USA.
Cruising USA is a good
T2
one.
Tekken 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tekken 2.
Yes.
Tekken 2.
I always just would pick the guy that was half leopard
Yes. Duh.
or cheetah, whatever, jaguar. Yeah.
If
And the
Mortal
kangaroo.
Kombat wasn't sitting there for me to scream
Facts.
about, I would
The
probably
kangaroo
take
with the
Tekken.
boxing gloves was kind of sick too.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Sumo wrestler. There's a bunch of good Tekken characters.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week.